I once read somewhere that this picture, taken by the crew of Apollo 17, was considered the most important image of the 20th century. But what do you see when you look at the Earth, our brilliant blue marble in space? Do you see the oceans, the continents, all the places you've been, all the places you'll never go? As an eclipse chaser, I know where every eclipse will be for my entire life. So when I look at the Earth, all I see is front row seats. Like in Libya in 2006, 4x4ing in the desert. Or Antarctica in 2003, living on an icebreaker. Or China in 2009, hiking in the bamboos and sailing up the Yangtze. Or Patagonia in 2010, where the eclipse dangled in the air above the peaks of the Andes. Yes, it seems there's not a bad seat on Earth. And with another eclipse looming on the horizon, I'm in the front row again, this time in Arizona. I'm traveling with fellow eclipse chasers Chris and Liz Maliski. They've seen more eclipses than I have. And we're all excited because there's a solar eclipse here today, just before sunset. It's May 20th, 2012. And as we drive around Arizona looking for a place to observe the eclipse, we get treated to one of nature's other wonders, the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And over at the gift shop, the eclipse is a pretty big deal. They're selling t-shirts and posters and eclipse shades. We're definitely not the only ones here for this eclipse. These guys are volunteers from the local astronomy club.
Oh, that's amazing.
Their presence here stirs up the anticipation big time as they turn people onto the universe and spread the word about eye safety.
Yeah, you'll have to have solar filters, glasses, to see it. You can't look directly at the sun, it'll burn your eyes.
But we can't hang out here all day. Time is running out. As it is, we don't have an observing site yet, and Chris has something special in mind. As the eclipse moves across the Earth, it follows a very predictable path that has a northern and a southern limit. And it's this southern edge of the eclipse zone that's got Chris all excited.
It's really hard to get. You have to get exactly on the edge, or just a few miles north of it, so you don't miss it, or else you've blown the whole thing.
You're a little daring
You know, like
here.
just 1 mile or so will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Either blow it or you don't see it at all.
Okay.
When it comes to eclipses, location is everything. A few miles in the wrong direction and we'll miss what we came to see.
5 miles.
And that's an annular solar eclipse. Unlike a total eclipse, today's moon is too far away to completely cover the sun. So when the eclipse reaches its peak, the moon will leave a ring of sunlight all around it. And with this smaller moon comes an extra part of the game for eclipse chasers. Using Solar Eclipse Maestro, developed by French chaser Xavier Joubier, you can see that where we choose to stand in the path of the annular eclipse will dramatically change what we see in the sky. Observe from the center of the path, and we'll see a perfectly symmetrical ring. Observe from the edge on the northern limit, and the moon appears to shift inside the sun to the south. The same thing happens from the southern limit. The edge of the moon appears to line up with the edge of the sun. And it's only here at these edge zones where you can see edge phenomenon, also known as Bailey's beads.
Well, you want to be about 1 mile or 2 north of the edge. That way you'll be sure you have that really thin angle.
It's all about the beads.
Yeah, and
If we want to see beads at this eclipse, we have to be in exactly the right spot. A fraction of a mile off in either direction, they disappear.
Compute on his software,
Yeah.
get the exact coordinates of this place and see if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually in the path or not.
Are you sure?
As it turns out, we're in the wrong place.
You're really flirting here.
Longitude should be 112 something.
We use my smartphone to get the GPS coordinates of this location, and Chris puts them into Solar Eclipse Maestro. And this is what we want to see. The bead profile. An animation of the sunlight popping in and out between the rugged hills and valleys of the moon's edge as it lines up with the sun. These are Bailey's beads. But at this location, there aren't any.
Or you know what? We're not getting the beads that we want from here.
No, like the software doesn't show us any beading. Yeah, it's just outside the path. It's not good enough, unfortunately.
So for the kind of beads that we want to see,
Well, we have to go a couple of miles north of here. That'll make all the difference.
and find a different.
2 to 3 miles, something like that.
Okay, so we need to get out of here and
Yep.
find a new spot.
You got it.
As we bail from this location, it occurs to me how our intimate knowledge of the eclipse phenomenon has given us the freedom to create the kind of experience we want here, to position ourselves precisely on the Earth, and, in a sense, create the beads for ourselves. This kind of partnering with the universe to create extraordinary experiences is what eclipse chasing is all about.
Well, first contact occurred 7 minutes ago, and now only like 7 minutes later, there's a very obvious bite out of the sun.
Yeah.
Very, very obvious. Now I've got about 40% of the sun is covered now, and it's also very obvious that the moon's size is smaller than the sun. Ah, so cool.
This is going to be really close.
How are you feeling about it so far?
Yes, sir. Look how clear it is. The 5th annular. We've seen 4 perfectly clear annulars, and here's the 5th one. Yes, baby. Oh, it's so exciting. Wow. This is great.
Okay, now will be the testament really to how good the GPS, how good every calculation that all of you guys did.
That includes me. Get me in the shot. That includes me.
I am sweating a little bit, I must admit, but it's still beautiful where we are.
With the eclipse chasers in the right place, and the universe doing its thing, we finally get to see what we came for. Using special filters to enhance the image, you can easily see the sun dancing in and out between the hills and valleys on the moon's edge. The Bailey's beads we were hoping for.
Okay, beads forming, more beads. Beads on both limbs now. I can see gaps. I can count about 5.
Oh, wow.
8 black gaps. Through this scope, come here, right now.
Wow, the light.
Look at that. Take a look. Yeah. Fabulous. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Oh, it's lovely. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, spectacular. Broken annularity. Right. I've never seen that before. I'm so glad we're near the edge because
With beads
we
on
wouldn't have
either
seen.
side.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
great. And there's all these beads formed and then disappearing, but it was beautiful anyway. Any
Yeah.
magnification, just with the high magnification we used, we were able to see that specific phenomenon. That is a first for me. It was just awesome to see that.
A complete wish fulfillment coming true.
There you go.
100%.
There you go.
100%,
Cheers, cheers.
Including the massive tall boy Heineken.
Yes.
The only way to go, even though we're in the U.S.
And as the eclipse day comes to a close, my front row seat on the universe has one more delight to deliver.